The investigation continues into what went wrong before a hot air balloon crashed, killing 16 people.
There are still a lot of unanswered questions around this, and investigators are going to be mapping out the crash site, which spans nearly 8 miles. It happened near Lockhart, which is about 35 miles southeast of Austin. Kay Whiteout is there this morning with a closer look at what the investigators are going to be doing today.
Good morning. Well, as the sun has started to come up way off in the distance, we can start to see the wreckage out there. Investigators out back that way. It's hard to be able to zoom in to get a close look because it is so far away, but we do understand that the wreckage could be hauled away as early as today. The NTSB out there combing through the debris this morning. And today investigators will likely interview the chase team. That is the crew that follows the hot air balloon and makes sure it lands safely. In the wreckage, investigators have already found 14 electronic devices from the crash site, things like cell phones, cameras, and iPads. We're told they're badly burned, but they do plan to send the devices off to a lab in Washington, D.C. to see if any videos or pictures can be recovered, all in an effort to try to help piece together what happened out here. A fire specialist has also been brought in by the NTSB to help determine what happened. We talked to Representative John Serrier about the weather out here. He thinks that could have been a key factor in the crash.
Even here at this airport here at Lockhart, there was several people that were going to go up for lessons and have flight instruction, and they canceled their flights. One of the flights was even later. It was supposed to be at 9:30 yesterday morning. And because of the low ceilings, the low cloud covers, they canceled that flight.
The NTSB is expected to give us an update late this afternoon, and as soon as we hear from them, we will, of course, pass along that information. In Caldwell County this morning, Kate Whiteaw, KXAN News.
Of course, weather always an issue or a question when you're talking about these kinds of things, and the NTSB investigators say they have pictures that show there were clouds in the area at the time.
Meteorologist David Yeomans is here because they have pictures. We also have data that shows the weather that day was not good at that time.
It was getting worse from takeoff until the crash, and we've been able to focus in on one variable in particular. Now, the weather station that we were checking out, it's not actually at the crash site because we don't have these weather sensors everywhere, but it is very nearby in San Marcos. Now, let me tell you, from takeoff until crash time there, about an hour in between those two times, the wind did not change. It was nice and light, 5 miles an hour, and the visibility did not change. Not too bad with just light fog at 2 miles. Here's what did change. Think of the ceiling on your living room. We also have a ceiling in the meteorology department, and that's how high the clouds are off the ground. At takeoff, 6:45 a.m., the clouds were a full 700 feet up, but they got much lower during that flight, down to 300 feet. We are going to monitor the latest as it becomes available from the NTSB. Sally?
Much, David, because we wanted to give you an idea of the timeline that investigators are working with since Saturday. We know federal investigators say the passengers met the pilot in the Walmart parking lot in San Marcos at 5:45 that morning. All of them rode together to the launch site at the Fentress Air Park. The launch time was set for about 6:45 that morning, but the NTSB says there was a 20-minute delay. They're still trying to figure out what was that delay and why. Less than 1 hour later, 7:42, investigators say the LCRA reported a power line trip. 1 minute later, exactly 7:43, a 911 call was placed. The NTSB says the balloon went down about 8 miles from where it took off. Authorities discovered the basket, called the gondola, underneath utility lines about 2 miles east of the city of Maxwell. The balloon was in a different spot, almost a mile northeast of where that basket landed. Now, investigators with the NTSB plan to give us another update at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And when they do, we'll bring that to you live on KXAN.com, as we have with all of the other press conferences that they have provided. This is in-depth coverage. You can see all the press conferences from the beginning on our website at KXAN.com.